is a feminist theorist, artist, and writer. Hook started to come into prominence as a writer of critical essays which focused on systems of domination, often employing the phrase imperialist, white supremacist, capitalist patriarchy. She has since written over 36 books. This speech was given at the Third International Women's Convocation in 2017, an annual conference meant to advance the well-being of women of all nationalities by promoting access to economic opportunities, healthcare and security, education, and political expression. If we really want to undo imperialist, white supremacist, capitalist patriarchy, we have to study, we have to learn, we have to utilize new forms of knowledge and allow those forms of knowledge to change us. We are called to cultivate, both individually and collectively, a spirit of radical openness, one that strengthens our collective willingness to be bold in hearing and in telling the truth, to stand for justice. The focus of my talk is very much on the whole question of feminism and where the movement for justice in challenging patriarchy is today. People have made so much talk about this new administration's racism and white supremacy, but I was really amazed when I went on the internet and looked up a lot of the alt-right statements. So many of them were so deeply misogynist and woman-hating, calling for a return to a mean-spirited, hard-hearted sense of womanness and women. I am always concerned when people are so obsessed with abortion. I definitely think we need some good therapy to try to figure out why white men are so obsessed with abortion and being anti-abortion. Even the kind of feminist women that I know, we've had great discussions here about reproductive rights. Our primary issue as women and men who are allies in the struggle is not the right to have abortion, it is to have reproductive rights, of which abortion is one. I often have this discussion with my good comrade Gloria Steinem. I've not convinced her. I've said, do you really believe that women in the world who are just trying to get clean water and feed their children and survive are running around being upset that they can't have an abortion? This is a very small example of how first world women in our society, mostly white, can impose our sense of what is important for women in the world. As such, that is a form of violence, because we are not respecting the lives of the millions of women in the world for whom feminist issue is ending war, having food, ending poverty, ending disease. In our society, we're so privileged, we don't have to think about those things as feminist issues. But in fact, the three things that are causing the most death of women and children: war, disease, and poverty. So let's keep that in mind when we talk about imperialist, white supremacist, capitalist patriarchy, and what is the role of white women in perpetuating those things.